If you're returning back, thank you for coming. I appreciate the support. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So, in today's video, I am going to be talking about beyond motherhood. And what I mean, hey, if you're returning back, thank you for coming. I appreciate your support. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So today I am going to be talking about life outside of motherhood, beyond motherhood. So although I love being a mother, although I love my children, although I love even being a stay-at-home mom, there is a life outside of them. I truly believe that as moms, that we should have a life outside of our children because of self-care, and then also because we have our own identities. Although mothers are a part of who we know, although mothers are a part of who we are, it's not only who we are. So, for an example, if you've followed or if you've seen my last video, previous video, you would know that I did go out of town for the first time by myself. And the reason why I went was because I had gone to Maryland for a conference, for the first ever Girl Code Collective conference. And y'all, it was absolutely amazing. I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to show a few snippets because it was amazing. But I went there to teach the children. I went there to lead youth. That's why I went there. For the parents that were coming, for the mothers that were coming, I was teaching their children, and we went into identity. And speaking of identity, I'm not going to lie, like, I had a little bit of mom guilt. I had mom guilt because it was my first time leaving my little ones. It was my first time. It was just a lot of firsts for me. And the old me would have been like, nope, I'm not getting on a plane. The old me would have made a lot of excuses for why I couldn't and for why I shouldn't, instead of thinking why I should and why I will. And y'all, again, I love my family. I love my kids. But I, as my friend, as my sister, Ashley would say, mama gotta have a life too. So, I'm with my kids pretty much all day, 24/7. But there are times where I have to be away from my kids. When my kids are older, as they grow older, they're going to have their own interests. And even when they become adults and start their own families, they're going to eventually move away from the nest. We're going to be empty nesters. And I don't want to get to the point where I'm so into my kids, and being into our kids, it's necessary. You want to be able to nurture our children. You want to be able to set a foundation, a firm foundation. But I don't want it to be like when they're gone, I'm trying to figure out what it is that I do. I'm trying to figure out who it is that I am. So I don't want to be so wrapped up into their lives or my life being, what's the word I'm trying to say? Them being the center of my life, that when they're gone, I no longer have a center. First of all, y'all know I love me some Jesus, so Christ should always be the center of everything. That's what I firmly believe. But even so, in continuing from that, like when my kids are gone, if my kids are the center or my focal point when they're gone, what am I focused on? So I don't want to be scrambling, trying to figure out, oh my goodness, what was me like? I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have a life. Self-care, like I said before, is so important. So that's one reason why, as mothers, as women in general, we should make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. But then to also not feel guilty when we're away from our children. Now, I'm not talking about just being in the streets, just being around like you don't have any kids, like not being responsible or not being accountable when you become a parent. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you're being a mom, you're responsible for your kids, you're taking care of their well-being, you're doing all of that, not feeling guilty or not feeling bad when you want to have time away from your kids or when you want to do something for yourself. Balance. I know it's a struggle to have a balance, but it is so necessary for your well-being. It is so necessary because, again, you don't want to get so wrapped up in this is even outside of your kids. Not if you're married, you have a significant other. It's another thing. It's like you don't want to get wrapped up in other people that you end up losing yourself. Like even with your spouse, there are things that I love doing that I did quite frequently before I got married. Now, because I'm not only married, but I have little ones, I may not be as flexible in doing those things, but you better believe I'm still going to do those things. It may not be in the same frequency, quantity-wise, how much I'm able to do it, but I'm still going to do it. For an example, going out in nature. So instead of going by myself, I may take them, or I may just say, hey, husband, I'm trying to do this. And communication, that's another huge thing. As long as communication is open and you have a spouse that is understanding and that supports you, then you shouldn't have any problems. But make sure that you communicate. And even with this trip, I let my husband know well in advance about the conference. He knew about the writing of the book and how there was also going to be a conference that was going to be months later, but he definitely did know about it. So making sure you open those lines of communication as far as a significant other or a spouse goes, you should be okay with that too. But even so, not even with just myself, but realizing that he has a life outside of just being a husband, just being a father, and understanding it can go both ways. But focusing more so on women because we tend to put ourselves on the back burner. We tend to focus on everybody else. Just remember not to get lost, because before I was a mom, I was Tiffany. Before I became a wife, I was Tiffany. That's who I am, and that's who I'm going to always be. And I don't want to forget that. So I'm going to continue to, even though I'm a stay-at-home mom, make sure I still work with children outside of my children, because that's a part of my purpose. That's what I believe that I've been called to do. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure that I read books to continue my education and to expand on the knowledge that I have on certain things. I'm going to continue to go out and get manicures and pedicures to take care of myself. I'm going to continue to go get my hair done. I'm going to continue to make sure I'm having those getaway trips so that I can pour into myself without any distractions. I'm going to continue to do that. And I want you to know, again, not to feel guilty about it and that it's okay for you to do it too. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.